I want to bring in someone. Before I bring him in, this is the book, Redeem a Nation, the century-long battle to restore the soul of America. We are trying to restore in 2026. We've been restoring since we got here. We shall overcome someday. But I want to bring you Damario Solomon-Simmons. He is the author of this. He's the executive director for the Justice for Greenwood Foundation and the author. Hello, Damario. How are you?
Hey Rachel, it's always good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm fine. What you call me, Rachel?
I mean,
Everybody calls me
April, I'm
Rachel.
sorry. God,
Everybody calls me Rachel.
I don't know why I said that.
Don't
I'm
worry about
sorry,
it.
April.
But I'm in good company if you're thinking I'm Rachel from MS now, so that's okay. So listen.
No, that was not it. I was really just so enthralled in what you were talking about with you and Maya Riley, and just everything in my mind was just messed up. Good to see you, April Ryan, my friend, April Ryan.
That's right. So, and it leads into this. I mean, you have been one of the champions, one of the main champions in this time for those who were the victims, the survivors, the centenarians who were the survivors of what happened in the Black Wall Street Massacre. And this book kind of details it. Talk to me about this moment, about it's we're fighting for justice everywhere. Talk to me about this moment and the uniqueness of Tulsa, the fight that still goes on in Tulsa.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show and talking about the book. And this book is so timely because it's not just about what happened in 1921. It is about what's happening right now. The erasure of Black power, the erasure of Black history, the erasure of Black voting rights. And I think what this book will do when people see it, this would not just be an understanding of what happened during in 1921, but I'm providing you a blueprint of how we can try to get through this time period. Because what happened to Greenwood, first of all, Greenwood was created in a time like this. And I make this very clear in the book. In a time like this, we created our HBCUs. In a time like this, we created our Black denominations. In a time of religious church denominations. In a time like this, we created our Black sororities and fraternities. In a time like this, Greenwood was created. And so we have to go back to those principles. And we also have to understand that we must prepare ourselves for the worst, because the worst does happen to us, and they're trying to make it happen again. And these are the things that I wrestle with in the book, To Redeem a Nation. I also are chronicling my work over almost 30 years of working on behalf of survivors and descendants. We talk a lot about my survivors who I've worked with, and we have one living survivor, and I have to shout out to her, Mother Leslie Benefield Randle, who is 111 years old.
Oh, Mother Randle, Lord have mercy, 111 years old. She hasn't gotten reparations. She was a child when the massacre happened, when they demolished Black wealth. And guys, as a kid, I used to hear my mother used to regale me about Black Wall Street, and I just thought it was myth. And you know what? It's so interesting as we're talking about this. The Senator Langford. Remember a couple of years ago, he wanted to make sure people understood that it really happened. He made it so that it would be taught in the schools, in the public schools. And then how many years later did the president, did his party leader want to pull out information, all of this kind of stuff out of the schools? It's so crazy. And I saw it for myself, guys. And if you haven't been to Tulsa, you got to go. It was 40 blocks or more of Black wealth.
Correct.
And then in an elevator, one of the few elevators where Black and white people could get in, this white woman screamed because the Black man was in. She just screamed. And then the white people got upset and tore the town down. And now, guess what? The over 40 blocks of Black wealth is now reduced to a block or half a block it's under an overpass, a highway overpass, sandwiched in by a minor league baseball field and some other stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
This
absolutely, Rachel. And like you've been here a couple of times, and I hope to see you this end of this May 29th for our gala coming up. You're absolutely right. And the reason I wrote this book, one of the reasons I want this book to make sure that people understand the true story of Greenwood, how it was created, and then what happened during the massacre, but also for people to understand that Greenwood also was willful resilient. Some people who survived the massacre was able to rebuild. And then we had to deal with what's called urban renewal, which is we call
Mm.
Negro removal, which happened all across this country. And that's what I make it very clear in the book. Greenwood is not unique because a massacre happened, because these massacres happen all over the country. Rosewood, Elaine, Arkansas, Atlanta, Chicago. I could keep going on and on and on. What makes Greenwood unique is the size, scope, and scale of the devastation. You're talking about a community of over 11,000 people. You're talking about the most organized, most prosperous, most wealthy per capita community of Black folks in the history of this country. You had the largest African-American owned hotel by J.B. Stratford burnt to the ground. You had very prominent people like A.J. Smitherman and Dr. A.C. Jackson, people that was considered the top of their field in journalism and as a surgeon, either killed. Dr. A.C. Jackson was killed. A.J. Smitherman was run out of town. And then we also talk about how we have been fighting since that day. I chronicle how the Black men of Greenwood, you mentioned the elevator incident. Greenwood is a love story that many people don't understand. And I say this because the elevator operator the young man's name was Dick Rowland. He was a 19-year-old shoeshine boy. He was not a prominent member of Greenwood. He didn't own any property. He was not wealthy. But the most wealthy men in Greenwood decided they loved the community so much, and he was part of the community, that they put everything on the line to stop him from being lynched. And although we lost the war, we did. It took him 36 hours, and we lost. But we did protect the life of Dick Rowland. And I think in today with what we're dealing with, what you were just talking to with Maya about the voting rights being taken away, we must have the community love to the point that we're willing to sacrifice everything to protect ourselves, because these people want to put us back into segregation. They want to put us back into enslavement. They want to take everything away from us. And we have to fight just like the people of Greenwood fought. And I hope this book gives you that blueprint.
But Damario, Dr. King said, and Dr. King is modern age. Greenwood, you were like 1921. Dr. King, the Voting Rights Act was 1965. There are people on this conversation today that were there in 1965, right? And it's not that far away that the rights have been rolled back. I was that generation that had their rights. Now my rights have been taken away. But Dr. King said, make the comfortable uncomfortable. Have we gotten too comfortable? Is the pain not great enough?
Well, this is something I talk about extensively in the book. And you mentioned, our generation being a generation that was born. I was born in 76. I'll be 50 next month. I was born with my
you young. But anyway.
Well, I'm the first person in my family born, basically with all my rights, right? Basically. Yeah. But here's the deal. The difficulty and the danger of this moment is real. This is a dangerous moment for us. But the beauty of this moment, it has made it crystal clear what must be done. Because for so long, particularly after the election of President Barack Obama, even people in our community, they didn't want to talk about race. They didn't want to deal with race. Oh, that's over in the past.
Oh, we're post-racist. We're post-racial.
Yeah, we're post-racial. At this point in time, and the book will lay this out and give you the blueprint, we have to be very clear like our ancestors was clear. They understood anti-Blackness was real. They understood segregation was real. They understood the violence of it and wanted to pull together with community love and with ownership and a freedom mind state and have wealth circulation and then be willfully resilient. Those are the 5 Think Greenwood principles that built Greenwood. And I want our people to understand, when you get to the end of this book, you realize that Greenwood was just as much a physical location as it is a state of mind. And we all can get into that Greenwood state of mind. And that's why this book is important. But more important than anything is joining the Greenwood 11,000 campaign that's tied to the book Redeem a Nation. We're looking for 11,000 people that will join with us by May 31st, 2026, which will be the 105th anniversary of the massacre. We want you to get the book. We want you to read the book. I've created a toolkit so you can download this toolkit, get with your family, your church, your fraternity, your lodge, and go through that toolkit, have a discussion, and then join with us on the front lines to be organized. We cannot win if we're not organized. The other side has been organized. They've been fighting for decades to get to this point. And right now they're winning because they're better organized than us. And I think the book Redeem a Nation can help us get organized so we can push back and get what has been taken from us and stop this bleeding that's happening right now.
Yeah, each chapter is like a strategy. Each chapter is your strategy. And I like that. And I want to go real quick to the chat because we are getting ready to have to say goodbye to everyone. We got a few minutes left. But Debbie says, I'm exhausted. This is from Facebook. Exclamation, exclamation. It's too much. Exclamation. Went through this in the 60s. But you know what? Each generation has to curate. I thought laws were permanent. They're not, apparently. And then you've got some people, two people at least said, Nancy and Susan. Nancy said, I grew up in Oklahoma City and have friends who grew up in Tulsa. None of us heard a thing about the massacre until sometime in the last 10 years. Absolutely shocking. Susan said, a good friend, White, grew up in Oklahoma, not knowing about it. I mean,
That's one of the reasons I wrote this book. I grew up right here in Tulsa, right in North Tulsa. I went to middle school at George Washington Carver Middle School on Greenwood Avenue. And I never knew anything about the massacre until I went to college and I had a professor talking about Greenwood and Black Wall Street and the Tulsa Race Massacre. And I literally raised my hand. And I talk about this in the book. I literally raised my hand in class and said, that's not true. And I was so embarrassed. That was back almost 30 years ago. I was so embarrassed from that standpoint that I started to make sure that I would educate myself and others about this. And it's been my life's work. And this book is just an extension of the work. It's an extension of the litigation, the legislation, the fighting, the going to City Hall. And I really talk about that because we have to get into the game. And we're asking for justice and reparations. And I want to tell everyone that's listening, people try to make us feel like asking for reparations is a radical act. Paying reparations is not radical.
nope.
Refusing to pay what you owe, that's radical. Secondly, go ahead.
Several groups have received reparations, and let's say that.
I was just about to say that. We actually pay reparations every day, April. I don't know why I keep saying Rachel. April, we pay reparations every day, and I talk about that. If you have a simple car wreck, and your leg is broken, your car is damaged, you miss time from work, and the person pays you for your medical bills, pays you for your time off, and pays you for your pain and suffering and fix your car, that is reparations. We do it every day. It just becomes a problem when it comes to Black folks, but we have to organize, we have to fight, we have to stand up, and we have to ask for it with unbelievable resolve.
Damario, thank you. Damario Solomon-Simmons, this is the book, Redeem a Nation. It's hot. Get it, get it, get it. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, April. RedeemerNation.com. Pick up the book. I'd love to see everybody. Oh, and I'll be in DC, April, May 13th with your girl, Ramonda at Mahogany Books. May 13th.
I'll see you. I'm going to see Ramonda in a few minutes. Actually, that's what I was going to say. But thank you, Damario. Get this book, guys. It's important.